It's Tuesday morning, and we have the third stimulus package bill in part. It was released last night and obtained first by this channel. This is the third stimulus package, provisions that detail the biggest items for viewers of this channel. Stimulus checks, FPUC, tax credits. I'll be going over the incredible details in this recording. Meantime, what's the reaction across Wall Street? Wall Street traded up yesterday. Both Dow and NASDAQ ended up strong. And in overnight trading, it's up as well. Renewed optimism as the Ways and Means Committee, which is dealing with this third stimulus package bill, will get it to a finality in their department by Friday. Could be even earlier. And off to the Senate it goes, then to the president's table. A lot of breaking developments across the board. Finally getting a stimulus check, finally getting the FPUC, but is there still room for modification? Hashtag FPUC Retro. It's a good morning. I'm so glad you're joining me on Early Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Early Mornings LALATE, the 6 a.m. edition. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and thank you for joining me on LALATE. From Wall Street to Main Street, from my home to your home, the most comprehensive financial news across the board. Recording 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and in this recording I have for you the first look at your third stimulus check bill. I debuted it yesterday, shortly after about 3 o'clock on the West Coast, and I have more for you this morning. Really exciting, so make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. This is the time to become one. Yesterday, I dropped no less than 10 new PDFs to members of this channel, which are PDFs obtained by this channel that are parts of the bill. The bill is going to be about 3,000 to 6,000 pages in length, and the PDFs dropped to this channel's viewers yesterday were in the hundreds of pages. We're going over the provisions of the third stimulus package. I'll detail more about those PDFs in a second, but this is the time to subscribe because you need information before anyone else, because a lot of these items are first come, first serve. So make sure you consider becoming a member. The link is in the description, also at the top of the chat. And over there is a chat. You can instant premiere with your friends, chat about the third stimulus package, and chat about what you're anticipating in this new month of exciting news. I'm really excited for you. That instant premiere is featured every morning on Early Mornings LA at 6 a.m. and again at 6:30. Meantime, if you missed EIDL and FPUC and Hazard Pay overnight, watch those shows. They're now archived on the channel. 3 big shows from overnight to LALATE. And with that, I have so much to get to. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that overnight, well actually yesterday afternoon, the House Ways and Means Committee, which is a subsection of the House of Representatives, issued a massive press release. It was not short, it was massive. And in there was attached 9 or so humongous PDFs which delineate the big provisions of the third stimulus package bill. For weeks, viewers have wondered what is in the bill. But you didn't have to wonder too much. Why? Because this channel over a month ago obtained an nearly exclusive copy of a draft from the Biden camp of what is in the third stimulus package. It was a summary, as you would call it, 30 pages summarized a 6,000-page bill. But we always wondered how accurate is the summary? Is there more detail? Is it going to get changed? How is it going to be delineated? Well, the summary had said the stimulus checks are $1,400 an individual, $2,800 a married couple, $1,400 a child, $3,200 adult dependents. It said that the FPUC goes back to January and goes forward to September at $400 a week. So I was wondering, hey, is it exactly like that or will it be slightly modified? Well, here's where we are procedurally right now. Over the weekend, I told you that the bill, 1, has been written. 2, the author of the bill is President Joe Biden. It's not Nancy Pelosi. 3, the bill is currently in the House of Representatives. 4, the bill by law has to go to the House subcommittees where members of those particular subjects have the ability and right to argue and mark up and make modifications to the language. It's their constitutional right. Then when they are finalized and they vote on those final items in the subcommittee, then it goes right up to the Speaker of the House and it goes over to the Senate. So when would the subcommittees deal with the language, and what language are they dealing with? I told you over the weekend, it was confirmed in a new statement by the Ways and Means Committee overnight that they're doing it on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. Now, what's incredible great news is that there's so much transparency. It's this wonderful new era of transparency where we can see documents and we can see what's going on. There's no game playing. There's no hide and go seek that we dealt with all throughout 2020. Now we actually see the documents, see the revisions, the memos, and the proposals. It's really quite refreshing. We don't have to guess about it anymore. So, the subcommittee Ways and Means, that's the name of the subcommittee, has the big parts of the bill, the nearly $900 billion of the $1.9 trillion bill. And they have the stimulus check, they have the FPUC, they have the tax credits, and that's the big parts, the big moolah that you wonder about. Other departments have the hazard pay, other departments have the EIDL, the business loans, the business grants. I'll be getting those documents for you as well. And ultimately, the details, the message is in the details. You need to make sure that the language is exactly as we had hoped for, or whether it's modified. And a lot of this is up for interpretation. As you know, it's always up for interpretation. So as we start the new morning, the bill is so big it falls off the set. The bill is so big it falls off the set. As you start the new morning, here it is. It's back on the set. And the provisions that one of the first PDFs that I delivered to members overnight was the stimulus check part. It's subtitle G, promoting economic security. What? Economic security? That's stimulus check. Stimulus check and other items. Part 1, 2021, recovery rebates to individuals. Why is it called recovery rebates to individuals? That's just the terminology they chose. So what, and that was one of 9 PDFs delivered to members. This is a bill. It looks like a bill. It has numbers on the side. It has bill language. It has subsections. And if you notice the name in the upper corner, it says kneel. not kneel down because you're about to propose to someone like you're on The Bachelor. No, that's the name of the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. That's why it says Neil. Hi, Neil. That's his last name. So this is his document. This is where it is right now. Now, is this law? No. Is this bill? Yes. Is this final bill? No. So they're going to mark this up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then call for vote no later than Friday. Reports say they could call before Friday. And then it's off to the whole House to vote upon by February 22nd, no later, by law, and then off to the Senate. So what was the statement that Representative Neal said about the document? He said he has 9 proposals, 9 provisions in his packet. That's why there's 9 PDFs. Yeah, it's sort of easy. Larry Kudlow math. There you go. 9 provisions that he's going to be delivering to the American people, beginning on Wednesday, February 10th at 10 a.m. Wow, we actually know the time. Through Friday, February 12th, his committee, Ways and Means, will mark up proposals, literally mark it up, spanning unemployment insurance to child tax credit to direct assistance to struggling Americans. Direct assistance is another word for economic impact payment or another word for stimulus checks. I don't know why they can't just agree upon a terminology. Our nation is struggling. This virus is still not contained, and our American people are counting on Congress to meet this moment with bold, immediate action, said Neal. The stimulus checks, $1,400. $1,400. $2,800 a married couple. $1,400 for a dependent child. Now, the income levels have not changed. Congratulations. You had heard all that debating from the Republicans over the last 2 weeks. I want to lower this. I want to raise that. Well, guess what? These are Democrats taking Joe Biden's bill. And they're not modifying Joe Biden's bill whatsoever. So it's exactly like how Joe Biden had it. $75,000 or less 2019 or 2020 earnings. They are paying you a stimulus check, darling. And guess what? The married couple, $150,000. And then The phase out remains much the same. I don't cover phase outs that much on this channel, but phase outs have to do with the high end. When the stimulus check does the stimulus check go to people over $75,000 of earnings? It does, but the phase out remains intact. Bottom line is, if you got a stimulus check the first time around, you get another one the second time, the third time around. If you were excluded the first time or second time around as adult dependent, you're getting one the third time around. Now, something you will certainly see, and I certainly saw it jump off the paper, is it's not particularly clear in the language, but it's, 100 pages of documents, whether the adult dependents are getting $3,200 or $1,400. Not particularly clear. And I'm sure you have an opinion. My opinion is it's just not clear. This is what it says. And why they calling it rebate amount, I just know I'm going to get 900 comments about that. I don't know. I don't write the bill. This ain't LALATE write the bill. So this is the bill. Let's go right to the first section of the if you remember this channel, this is the first major PDF of yesterday. This is the stimulus check. Section 428B.2021, recovery rebates to individuals. In the case of an individual, there should be allowed a credit against the tax imposed for the taxable year of 2021 in the amount of a rebate determinable for the taxable year. For purposes of section, the term 2020 rebate means with respect to a taxpayer for any taxable year, the sum will be $1,400 in the case of a joint tax return, plus $1,400 for the number of dependents for the tax payable for the taxable year. So there you go. $1,400 for an individual, $1,400 for a dependent. I know you heard language there, taxable individual. So let's see what else it says. For purposes of section, the eligible individual means any individual other than a non-resident alien or an individual who is a dependent of another taxpayer person for a particular year beginning the calendar year in which the individual's taxpayer begins and an estate or trust. So an eligible individual is anyone other than a non-resident alien or an estate or trust. The tax credit is based upon the taxpayer's adjusted gross income for that taxable year under $75,000. In the case of joint filers, then it's $150,000. This is married couple. This is what we always talk about, married couple. The stimulus check, as a married couple, you get $150,000. In the case of head of household, it will be $112,000. Dependents. For purposes of section, dependent has the meaning by section 152. In the case of other than a joint return, the $1,400 shall be treated as zero unless the taxpayer includes a valid identification number of the taxpayer on the return for the taxable year. In the case of joint tax returns, $2,800. Dependents, a dependent shall not be taken into account unless subsection has a valid identification number. And you just sort of see this sort of consistent behavior of language. In the case of any payment determined pursuant to subsection 6G, it will ensure that the member is available for calculations. And then it just sort of continues thereafter. It deals with things like advance returns. It deals with things like tax credits. And it gets sort of complicated thereafter. Now, I know how you may feel if you're hearing this document. You may say, wait a second, I don't file tax returns. Do I get a stimulus check? Does this mean I have to file a tax return to get a stimulus check? By all accounts, it doesn't sound like that's the requirement. But needless to say, These documents always cause some people confusion. They're always up for interpretation. This was the statement given by the Ways and Means Committee yesterday. He will be giving working families additional direct payment of $1,400 per person, bringing their total relief to $2,000 per person. Extends federal unemployment and benefits through August 29th, 2021. Increases the weekly benefits from $300 to $400. Makes historic expansion of tax credit to targeted workers. Enhances the earned income tax credit for workers without children by tripling the maximum tax credit, extending eligibility. This would be the largest expansion since 2021. Expands the child tax credit to $3,000 per child if they're under age 18 and $3,600 if they're under age 6. And I have gotten from viewers a lot of questions over that over the last few weeks. Remember that child tax credit is currently law. This is a bill that seeks to modify the existing law. So if you're trying to determine whether or not you're looking at your current tax return or your next year tax return, you're hearing this, you're wondering, understand that child tax credits have been around for a while. This is just a modification of existing law. In the video after this, I'll go over why this bill yesterday was so confusing for some, because it's written by the same guy who said, you know what, I'm going to give you multiple stimulus checks, but based upon the same thing that Joe Biden wants us to give you up front. Confusing? I'll make it very simple for you. Multiple stimulus checks, earned income tax credit, hazard pay, and more coming up at 6:30. Stay informed, stay focused. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. Stay informed and stay with LALATE, and have a great morning, and see you in a few minutes on the continuation of Early Mornings LALATE.